Israel teeters on the edge. Hostages still trapped in Gaza. Former Defense Minister Benny Gantz urges Netanyahu to form a unity government. 6 months, one mission, save lives. Far-right allies resist. Ceasefire talks drag. Officials warn some captives are critically ill. Every delay could cost lives. Every political move could tip the balance between diplomacy and disaster. In Israel, former Defense Minister Benny Gantz has urged Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to form a temporary unity government with members of the opposition, aimed at securing the release of hostages held in Gaza and advancing legislation on military conscription for ultra-Orthodox Jews. Speaking at a televised press conference, Gantz called for what he described as a government of hostage redemption and equality in the military burden, with a 6-month mandate before new elections. He invited opposition leaders Yair Lapid and Avigdor Lieberman to join him, saying the duty of the state must be to save lives first.
I am here on behalf of the hostages who have no voice. I am here for the soldiers who are crying out and whom no one in this government is listening to. In Hamas's tunnels, there are 50 hostages. Every hostage whose life is at risk could be our son, your son. The duty of our state is first and foremost to save the lives of Jews and all citizens.
The proposal directly challenges Netanyahu's reliance on far-right coalition partners who oppose a deal with Hamas. Gantz also made it clear that he believed Netanyahu was currently avoiding a Gaza deal due to political pressure from his far-right allies rather than valid security considerations. Gantz called on him to ditch them and think first of the nation.
I don't want to save Netanyahu, but to save the hostages.
National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir dismissed the idea, stating that
voters had chosen a right-wing policy, not a centrist government. Not surrender deals with Hamas, but absolute victory. Right-wing voters chose a right-wing policy, not Gantz's policy, not a centrist government, not surrender deals with Hamas, but yes to absolute victory.
Netanyahu has said he ordered negotiations to free the remaining hostages, while also approving a new offensive in Gaza City. The plan has faced resistance at home, with critics warning it risks further endangering captives. Mass protests in Tel Aviv have continued to call for an agreement, as international mediators await Israel's response to a ceasefire proposal accepted by Hamas last week. Out of 251 hostages taken during Hamas's October 2023 attack, 49 remain in Gaza, according to Israeli authorities. Israel is grappling with new concerns over the fate of hostages still held in Gaza. According to Channel 12, officials now believe that at least 1 or 2 are in life-threatening condition and in urgent need of medical care. An unnamed senior official told the channel,
"Releasing the hostages is an urgent need."
The assessment followed remarks by US President Donald Trump, who suggested fewer than 20 hostages remain alive, comments that contradicted Israel's official figures and unsettled families of the captives. Israel's coordinator for hostage affairs, Gal Hirsch, told relatives that there has been no change in the official count and Hamas is holding the body of an Israeli soldier killed in 2014.
According to the information we have, there is no change in the number of living hostages. 20 of the hostages are alive, 2 others are in grave danger for their lives. 28 are no longer alive and have been declared deceased.
The heightened concern for the hostages came as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu agreed to dispatch negotiators to talks mediated by Qatar and Egypt, after warnings that hostages could be executed or killed in Israeli strikes if a planned offensive on Gaza City proceeds. Meanwhile, inside government meetings, tensions are also apparent. According to Channel 12, IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir cautioned that evacuating civilians from Gaza City could take significant time. Far-right Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich rejected that assessment, telling Zamir that the army should besiege the city and cut off water and electricity to force surrender.
We ordered you to carry out a quick operation. In my opinion, you can besiege them. Whoever doesn't evacuate, don't let them. No water, no electricity, they can die of hunger or surrender. This is what we want, and you're capable of doing it.
Complicating Israel's hostage efforts, Major General Yoav Mordecai was temporarily removed from the IDF's negotiating team amid the ongoing Qatargate investigation. Channel 12 reports that police found his recent testimony problematic, resulting in a 14-day ban. Mordecai, who has played a critical supporting role under Major General Nitzan Alon, was earlier questioned over alleged ties to a foreign agent and financial transfers linked to an online campaign favouring Qatar. While he does not negotiate directly with mediators, his temporary absence adds another layer of uncertainty to Israel's hostage strategy. According to a Haaretz analysis, by midweek, an Israeli delegation is expected to depart for Cairo, with negotiations framed as an effort to end the war and secure the release of hostages. Yet, Israeli officials acknowledge the talks are more about managing time than reaching an agreement, according to the publication. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu continues to press demands that Hamas is unlikely to accept, including Israeli control over parts of Gaza and the authority to decide its future governance, Haaretz notes. His conditions are seen less as negotiating positions than as political safeguards, designed to avoid concessions that could fracture his coalition. Far-right partners Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar Ben-Gvir have made clear that any compromise with Hamas would trigger their withdrawal from government. Internationally, there is broad consensus that Hamas cannot govern Gaza, according to the analysis. Regional powers from Egypt to Saudi Arabia, as well as the United States, view the group as destabilizing. Hamas officials themselves have floated the idea of a technocratic administration, but Israeli leaders have dismissed the proposal. Netanyahu, however, retains support from President Donald Trump, whose attention is divided by conflicts in Ukraine and Syria, Haaretz reports. While US officials remain engaged, their focus is shifting, leaving Gaza negotiations in a holding pattern. For now, Israel's strategy appears to rely on pressure rather than compromise.